We're Clear Ear, and we're delivering hearing innovations that'll make ears around the world happier. The first problem we're addressing is earwax. Now, earwax is no joke. Everyone produces earwax, but for some people, the wax builds up in the ear canal, causing hearing loss, ringing in their ears, and oftentimes prevents diagnosis of other ear diseases. Problematic earwax is a global problem affecting 360 million worldwide. Here in the U.S. alone, there are 47 million Americans with the condition, and of these patients, those most adversely affected are the 8 million hearing aid users, like Grandpa Joe. Grandpa Joe has always been the most social person in the family, but with his aging, he's been finding it harder and harder to hear. As his condition continues to get worse and worse, his grandson notices that Grandpa Joe isn't his usual self, and finally convinces him to see Dr. X, his hearing healthcare professional. As Grandpa Joe sets out on his journey, little did he know his ears were about to enter into battle with a little mischievous villain, earwax. During the diagnosis stage, when Grandpa Joe goes in for a hearing test, earwax is in the way. Not only can Dr. X not see his eardrum to determine his general ear health, the hearing test results come back inaccurate. During the fitting stage, ear impressions of Grandpa Joe's ears are taken. But due to earwax, the hearing aid molds come back and don't fit. During the follow-up care stage, Grandpa Joe returns home with his new hearing aids. Grandpa Joe is happy he can hear and rejoin the family conversations again, and is back to his usual self. But this happiness is short-lived, for only a few weeks later, earwax is back. His hearing aid fails and he has to take it back to Dr. X for repair. Earwax is the #1 reason for hearing aid failure. Hopelessly stuck in this recurring cycle of problems, this leaves Grandpa Joe very frustrated. He eventually becomes so dissatisfied he quits. Because he can no longer hear well, he disengages from conversations with those around him. As he becomes more and more socially isolated, he becomes more and more unhappy. Is all hope lost for Grandpa Joe and his ears? As it turns out, there are ways to effectively manage earwax, but it usually requires expensive equipment and years of training to perform. Unfortunately, Dr. X, like the majority of hearing healthcare professionals, doesn't have the time to be trained or a money tree, so they find it much more difficult to help manage Grandpa Joe's earwax. Enter Clear Ear's total ear care system, Tec. With Tec, we empower hearing healthcare professionals like Dr. X to manage earwax without the burden of expensive equipment and years of training. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Fill the clean container with water and press the heater button. The water will be automatically heated to body temperature to prevent dizziness. 2. Visualize the earwax with our patented Clear Ear speculum and start the cleaning. The 4 water jets are directed at the sides of the ear canal instead of directly at the eardrum. The jets will gently dislodge the wax and suction it away. 3. All the wax is collected in the dirty container, ready for easy disposal. Dr. X can now clean Grandpa Joe's ears regularly, making sure he always has the right fit and fewer hearing aid failures. And that makes everyone happier. We're Clear Ear, and we're delivering hearing innovations that'll make ears around the world happier.